Welcome to Not Nicole, episode 10. Pretty sure it's episode 10. I didn't look before. Anyway, hey, double digits. Today is Wednesday, June 8th. It is approximately 12 o'clock. I am out in the loft. Thankfully, it isn't quite as hot as it has been. It's been getting down to the 60s. High 60s overnight, so I've been opening up the window. Out here a little later today because I had to call Indiana Department of Revenue to say, yes, you did get money from me and please give it back. That was fun. Honestly, I just had to prove to them that there was withholding sent to Indiana in 2025. Because when I talked to them, they didn't have a record of it. Well, here is a picture of that form. Please give me my money back. Yeah. So, knitting a shirt. My husband gave me this for Christmas. I knit yarn periodically. I don't even know what some of these are, right? I mean, obviously I know what argon and nitrogen is, but I have no idea. YTT. It's trim. I don't know. Weird, but funny. I don't know why it says periodically. I mean, obviously, though, pulling from the periodic table. But I'm always knitting yarn and sewing. All right, today I am drinking caramel creme brulee black tea that I got at Beans, Teas, and Other Things in Marion, Iowa. I will link that. And then my very fun, It's a Great Day for Ferret Heist. I don't have that many mugs, so it's like 7 on rotation. But this one always makes me smile. I have no new projects today, so we will just go through the 4 that I have, and I'll talk about them quickly. First, it's just Yarn Junction Company, just the shopping bag, but it lasts well. So Yarn Junction Company is located in, I forget if it's Des Moines or West Des Moines, but it is about a half-mile south of Valley West High School, which is where Caitlin Clark went to high school. So Des Moines, West Des Moines, that whole area. It's one of those, if you cross the street, you're in a different city. Anyway, it's big enough to hold a sweater. So this is my Waystone Pullover that I am knitting as a test knit for Alicia Plummer. I am knitting size 4, which should be 48.5. I'm right about 48. I already went up 1 needle size. I didn't want to go up another. But honestly, if you look there, I don't know if on camera you can tell the difference. I can tell the difference visually between where I blocked and where I didn't. Anyway, I'm just absolutely loving this. So it is half fisherman's rib, which I like to call half brioche because you're still making brioche moves. You're just doing it every other stitch instead of every stitch. Right, so you always work the purl stitch, but you're brioching the knit stitch. So it does use Japanese short rows. I think those actually turned out really well. The front is knit longer than the back, so as you can see the way I'm holding it, the shoulder seams will sit in the back of the shoulder, which I think is a really good look. It is my intention. She gives an option for like a mock neck or a folded hem. I am going to do or neckband. I am going to do a folded neckband. I think I'd prefer that shorter. And I will keep it in this color. This is working better than I expected. I wanted this to be about halfway. I don't know. Based on calculations, I don't think it's quite halfway. If I try to fold that in half, yeah, it's a bit less than half. And I have equal amounts of yarn, so probably I will knit my sleeves to be like the light purple will be longer. Or, I don't know. What do you think? I could start with the dark purple on one and the light purple on the other. I don't know. Anyway, I did put a marker in. So this is where I was on the last episode. So I've done all of this in the last 2 weeks. Today, I'm hoping to get the collar picked up and knit. Based on my calculations, it's about 20 rounds, and then the pickup stitches and the whip stitch together. So hopefully I can get that done today. I'm starting late because I do not know where I put my lantern moon needles. So I've been organizing while I sat on hold for like 30 minutes. And then these are the yarns. So this is Gilliat, and this is Aster, and this is Figu, are the two colors that I'm using. And I'm supposed to have it done the 17th. I commented that I didn't think I'd have it finished, so the release date is the 23rd of July, which gives me 17 days to do the collar, 2 sleeves, and block it. And then find a very cool time of day to take a picture because it will be warm. It's worsted weight, woolen spun worsted weight is the yarn. But I'm super excited for it, and it's like 10 inches of positive ease, but it's gonna be like really sweatshirty, and it will be perfect with some leggings, having it that oversized. I'm very excited for that one. And I decided I will definitely frog the maroon one that's sitting in timeout. I will frog the entire thing and re-knit it with the correct number of stitches. And I will knit it also as a size 4, but expect it will come out about a size 3. All right, next one is the Attagirl. I'm still in the increases. I don't honestly know if I worked on this one since the last episode. I'd try it on, but it's not long enough yet. Yeah. So next time I'll put a marker in to show my length. Because I'm trying to get that one in such a short time frame since I had to start over, I've not been working on this one. I don't care to, so I haven't really been working on it. All right. Next one is my staple tank. I've only worked a couple of inches. I know that I had it joined in the round. I haven't really worked on it in the last week because I needed to try it on. I don't know if you can tell in the camera, there is definitely a gauge change from working flat. So working flat is larger than working in the round. I should have probably gone up a needle size, but I did not. I did try this one on, so I will add a photo of me wearing it. I was debating if I should do the additional 2 decreases that I had originally calculated, given the gauge change. I've decided I will do those. technically it's ready for me to do another decrease round. I might space that out a bit more. Do one more row, do 4 between the decreases. So essentially it'll be a decrease in the front, 4 rows, and then a decrease on the back, to space that out, how that's shaping. Because I do have that bit more length to do in the front. And so what's funny, I don't know if you can see that, there's kind of this pucker here where the gauge changed. I didn't do any bust darts, and honestly, because of the gauge change, I don't think I need to. When I tried it on, it still seemed pretty parallel, and if for some reason after I knit to the length I want to, actually, I'm trying to remember. I'm gonna have to go back and watch the last episode, right? Because I went and I added those. I know after I added these, I ripped everything back and redid it from the underarm. Anyway, so I still have about an inch to do before my waist, and then I'll do an inch at my waist. And then I think I'm gonna go from my waist probably another 5 inches. So the shorts I'm wearing in the picture are a little big, so they're kind of dipping down in the front, but if you think about where they sit at my hip, I'd probably, sit about an inch below high hip is where I'd want this to end. Definitely want to finish that sooner rather than later. So it's probably the Waystone first, then the staple tank. And then honestly, in the order of like what I'll work on if I have time, right? Then the socks. So the staple tank I can travel with, as well as the socks I can travel with. So last episode I was at about 35 rows, and then I did take it to a show, and then because I wasn't sure about the staple tank, I took it out to lunch last week and got to 83 rows. So I decided, I'd been debating whether to make the leg longer, so it was as long as it took me to get home. Anyway, so you can't really tell. I started the heel flap. So I'm about 4 rows or 2 repeats into the heel flap, and I knit that to 18 repeats. But yeah, so I've definitely made progress on that since the last time. So from 35 to about 82 rows, and then the 83rd is where I started the heel flap. And honestly, he works in an office that is nice and cold, and his feet are always cold, so he wears those even in the winter. But he did tell me he's impressed at how many socks he's already gotten this year, so I don't need to rush, right? I can finish those 2 things first. Alright, that made noise. That was me setting this down. This I got from Twice Sheared Sheet, so it comes apart and can lay flat. It works pretty well. I have another one that I don't like near as much. I actually like that this is thicker. I think that helps it works better. And it works good with this type of yarn. There's no real center pull ball with these kinds of skeins. So pulling that from the outside. So that's what that noise is. All right, next segment is usually acquisitions. I have no yarn acquisitions in the last 2 weeks. which is really okay. I'm not making that much progress on my knitting, so I don't need more yarn to come in. That, and then we're about to do a bunch of traveling, so yarn will be acquired. Anyway, but I did pick up some things for my sewing machine. I had watched a video on YouTube about sewing machine maintenance, and so it talks about why you shouldn't blow the fuzz in your sewing machine, because then it can get under and really gum things up. And I finally took out, not the bobbin, but the bit the bobbin sits in on my faff. And oh my God, there was so much fuzz down there. So I definitely am not having near as many issues with it cutting since I cleaned that out. But a video that I watched recommended disposable mascara wands. And I could definitely see and believe how they will get the fluff out. And with as much sewing as I am doing, I'm gonna set these on the floor. It's will need to be cleaned out probably quarterly. Then the other thing I ordered was from Sewing Parts Online. What I love about Sewing Parts Online is that when you go to their website, you can select your sewing machine model and shop by sewing machine model. So this is for my bag sewing. So if you look at the drawstring casing, I have one here, right? I'm rolling the edge. Without a rolled hem foot, it took me 2 days, like 4 hours, 2 days, measuring how deep it needed to be, pressing it, measuring it again, or like folding it in, pressing it, and then stitching it. So much time, right? With the measuring and the pressing. So not knowing the exact width I need, I got a faff. So this is a 4mm rolled hem. So you can see it essentially does that rolled hem that I was doing with pressing and pins and the iron. Like, oh my God, it should save me so much time, right? So I got that one as well as this one. So that one is a 3mm. So then I can see, you know, I was planning when I'm cutting these out 3/8 of an inch inseam. So, it'll probably save me some fabric as well. So I need to get a scrap piece of fabric and test that out, see what that is like. And then the last one I got, because why not, since I was placing an order anyway. You cannot see that at all. But an invisible zipper foot. So in clothes, like unless I'm making trousers that have a flap, like on jeans, I would typically use an invisible zipper, right? Side of a dress, side of a shirt, side of a skirt. Most likely I would use an invisible zipper. And it's just not the same without the invisible zipper foot, because the invisible zipper foot unfolds the coils of the zipper so that you can stitch inside that. You get a much closer sew, so that's cool. All right, so now we're going to talk about sewing projects. You know, I talked a couple episodes ago about catching up on some personal sewing projects, but over Labor Day weekend, I decided I need to get ready for our next trip to Hawaii, which my husband bought plane tickets for last night. So I'm going to make him the Presley shirt. It is part of Charm Patterns Patreon. I'm not actively a member, but I was a member for a bit over a year. And it's definitely modified from the original pattern, though I am thinking about making the original pattern for myself because it has waist shaping in it. It's intended as a men's shirt, but it has waist shaping in it. And so for my husband, I just straightened it. And so I can post a picture of one that I've finished. And then I am making some modifications to this one again as well. So I'm adding, overall it's a 1/4 inch to the back. My husband's very much into comfort, and this is definitely a fitted shirt. And I mean, you don't normally do that, right? When you're wearing a button-up shirt, but Hawaiian shirts do typically fit a little bit looser. So I'm adding a bit of space in the shoulders, and if he still wants more space after I do that, I will go up a size, at least around the neck. So I went and grabbed the fabric. Oop. So there's all the scraps. We'll see if I end up making something out of those, but this is the fabric. So I did cut everything directional because there is, there's palm trees, and there's a face in there. So this is, it's about half a yard, I think. Maybe a bit more. Oh, more like 2/3 of a yard that I have left. But so that will be what the shirt is made out of. So we actually bought this fabric in 2024 at a fabric store on Maui. I will see if I can find what it is. I had actually a calendar from them last year because we got it really late. And here is the second shirt. So that one would be this way. So if I go up a size, then I have more than enough fabric for that. Honestly, looking at the pattern pieces, it's only like a total of like a 1/2 inch, and I would just do that in the shoulders. But then, so I'd print off those pattern pieces so they all match at the neck. And just, I think it'd be fine if the shirt fit a little bit big since it is a Hawaiian shirt. So the one that I completed for 2 years ago, actually there's two, but one, the sleeves are way too big. But the one of the ones that I completed 2 years ago, he actually did wear last year. So maybe I'll see if I can find that picture and I can add that so you can see what it looks like on him. I think it looks pretty good, but let's not deny the comfort, right? And honestly, I think those fabrics that he picked out, so he did pick those out, were a cotton polyester blend. But yeah, so Presley shirt from Charm Patterns Patreon was a collaboration with a male designer, and making 2 of those for my husband for our trip. And I did place an order from Mood Fabrics to get some mesh. I've done it one before. So my husband has some store-bought shirts that have where the back yoke connects on a button-up shirt. Usually the back yoke is 2 separate pieces from the rest of the back. And so one of those pieces I will make out of a breathable mesh. And then, so you have to finish the bottom seam of the exterior piece because it's only tacked down. It's not sewn completely, so that you actually get some airflow into a breathable mesh across the back shoulder. So that just helps with cooling. He really likes those shirts, so I'm gonna replicate it. That's my modification that I was talking about for this round, besides adding the 1/8 of an inch. And then once I finish his, I'll figure out what I'm gonna make with the fabric I bought for myself. Now, moving on to bag sewing. I did actually finish 5 bags. So I finished 2 20-inch bags, so circumference is 20 inches. So I finished 2 20-inch bags. So I put canvas on the bottom, so it's a bit more rugged if you're setting it down on something, moving it. It's cotton canvas, quilting cotton for all the materials, cotton for the batting, that's the lining, and cotton in the handles and the cord. The only thing that is not cotton is the all-purpose thread, which is polyester. And that's just going to keep being what it is. But, so you can see, so I make the strips first, the vertical strips, and then I sew them onto batting. Then I have the drawstring casing, the interior lining. We'll turn that inside out. So that's the interior. I add a pocket, and I have a D-ring attached so you can hook things to it. And then drawstring closure. So I wanted the drawstring casing to be large enough that the batting part of the bag could still stand up straight without being pulled in. So it's a very defined circular bag. And it's essentially the same thing for the 24-inch bag. So 24-inch bag. There is the D-ring. We have a pocket. Canvas on the bottom. So completely machine washable. And so yeah, this one is 24 inches. That one doesn't want to stand up straight. So, whoop. All right, I'll just hold them both by their handles. So they are the same height. So when closed, it's about 8.5 inches. And so you can kind of see the size difference between the 24 and the 20. So I hope to get something set up to sell these. I'd hoped to have these done weeks ago, and I literally finished them right before Independence Day. But I figure red, white, and blue always is appealing. Price point for these, for the 20-inch bag, $50. Let me tell you, it's a fair amount of work doing the quilting, and then $60 for the 24-inch. So, there are 3 of these, 2 of these, and working on my next set. I'm working on 9 this week, so I hope I can get 9 bags done this week. So this is the next 9. So you can see sewn onto the batting. I have those put together. I have 2 different styles. I ran out of material for the pocket, so there's 2 random pockets. But I ran out of that fabric, so 2 different styles of lining on this batch. And then there's the drawstring panels ready to get put together, and then little strips of fabric to make into the D-ring holders. So I do have some more pieces I need to sew together, because I only have 8 that are put together, and then I still need to cut the bottoms, but I'm hoping I can get 9 more done this week. They say that off camera. So this was my fun I got to play with. So shows my math there. The little hole in the middle. I ran out of cardboard, but rings. Oh, here's the other one. So the interior bag is slightly smaller. So I have 2 different rings. So you can see there, maybe. Yeah. That there are 2 different sizes that I cut the bottom circles out. So I need to cut the bottoms out and essentially just assemble now that those are together. So I hope I get to, my goal today is to get all of the pieces assembled, so everything but the bottom, and laid out together, just to be able to sew the top. And then so probably today I'll just get them laid out together, and then tomorrow sew the tops and the sides, and then Friday sew the circles, and then they're essentially done. So that's pretty cool. Top stitch. But so yeah, I've been spending a lot of time on my bags trying to get enough of them sewn together for sale, and then really focused on my Waystone Pullover. So I did make progress. We saw Russell Dickerson at the McGrath Amphitheater at the last week of June. And so that was where I did a lot of sock knitting. And I kind of love it there. They do bag checks. I have a triangular bag from Black Pearl Magic. It's clear. And so I, put the bare essentials in there, and then, a ball of yarn and my sock, and, it's small enough that I've only once had somebody want to look inside. I have this pouch, it's like that big, literally that big. I put my key in it, I put chapstick in it, I put some cash in it. It's tiny. I've only one person who ever asked what was inside of it, and I did end up pulling it out. But I think as long as I offered to show it to him, he didn't care. Obviously, if I offered to show, I have nothing to hide, so nothing to worry about, I guess. But, yeah, not much going on the last 2 weeks. I did make some English muffins, and then we had a wonderful Eggs Benedict that my husband made. So I will put up a picture of my English muffins. I do need to bake some bread, but my husband keeps buying bread. That, and then I get out here really early in the morning. So maybe I need to make some bread at night or something if I'm going to do it. I bought some new pans that are smaller for, it's a discard multigrains. If I get those made, I'll include pictures on my next episode. Yeah, pretty low key. I've been sewing and knitting and baking and playing with our plants. So I am trying, apparently it's called a Florida weave. I first learned of it as called French terracing, but trying to quality check what I learned at a community farm we volunteered at 2 years ago. According to YouTube, it's a Florida weave. And so I've been doing that. I can put a picture up of what our tomatoes look like. I spent like 2 hours on it yesterday, trimming the tomatoes and trying to get them to focus on making fruit and not suckers. Yeah, adding in additional levels to the weave. And that's what I like about it versus the cages. You can actually let them maybe like spread out a bit, but it can support them and keep them upright. So yeah, gardening, sewing, knitting. I suppose you could say I live a rather analog life because that's what I focus my time on. But I'm all about the audiobooks and stupid YouTube videos. I need to find more knitting content on YouTube I like. Maybe go watch some old Vlogmas videos or something. It's better than the AI crap that's on YouTube. Anyway, okay, I'm rambling at this point. So if you've stuck around through that, I really appreciate it. Yeah, we'll go from there. Hopefully I'll be able to let you know where my bags are for sale in the next 2 weeks as well. I will start putting it up on Instagram once I get more finished. So that is currently at Nicole's Bubbles, linked in the description. And yeah, thank you all for watching and have a great rest of your day.